Aditi, let me start with you. You are today a BJP leader. Once upon a time, you used to be with Congress. You walked out. You didn't see your future there. And now you have proven your mettle by winning in Sonia Gandhi's home turf. What do you think? What would you identify as the reason that there is trust in the BJP today in UP over all other parties? Talk a little bit about your own election and your own journey first.
Certainly. And Barkha, I can honestly only talk about my own election and my own journey. I'm no one to comment on, things outside. And as much as there may have been a BJP wave in Uttar Pradesh, when it came to my own seat or Rae Bareli, you will see that 4 out of the 5 seats, or agar aap 6 manenge, then BJP only managed to win 2 out of 6 seats. So there was a little bit of an undercurrent for Samajwadi Party as far as my district goes, as far as Raebareli is concerned. And it sort of became a very bicameral election in terms of Congress and Baspa were just nowhere. So जब भी दो लोगों का चुनाव होता है, it becomes very, very difficult because it's aar ya
Mhm.
par, right?
Hmm.
And it was absolutely the toughest election I've ever seen, I've ever contested. And I've seen my dad's elections, and I've seen Nagar Palika and all sorts of elections. And only 6 to 8 months back, we went into Pramukhi and the Panchayati elections. But man, I've never seen an election like this. It was
What what
an
what what made it so different and difficult? What made it so different and difficult, Aditi?
what so firstly, the one thing anyone trying to understand UP elections has to understand is that you cannot take the caste factor out of UP. You absolutely can't. And anyone that says that they can or they have are lying, or they just don't understand the game. Now, on top of the whole caste system and casteism and all of that, people very quickly understood that the other parties are just not even, you know, on the battleground. They're not even players. So vote that is generally divided or generally would also have, shifted to Congress in some places or the BSP in some places remained completely intact with either of the two parties, depending on wherever their loyalties lied. That made it very, very difficult in terms of, if you talk about my own seat, like you said. The castes that were not going with me or didn't want to vote for me or didn't want to vote for BJP, they were all completely with the Samajwadi Party. There was very little vote wastage, you can say. There wasn't a lot of vote that went to the BSP or the Congress Party or the independents or Aam Aadmi Party or whoever else contested. It was completely between these two parties. And anytime jab direct mukabla hota hai, it's always a very, very tough election. So that way, I think for me, it was, caste wise, it was a very, very
Yeah.
tough election. I think it's just so useless to even talk about the Congress Party at this point. I mean, I don't even see the point of talking about the Congress Party. गढ़ 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 कह के कांग्रेस लाइब्रेरी हमारा गढ़ है, अमेठी हमारा गढ़ है, अब उनको समझ में आ गया क्या है यहाँ. And to be honest, I've
Hmm.
been saying it for a while. Of course, I would say it. One would say कि ये तो बोलेगी, but अब जनता ने अपना जवाब दे दिया. The people have spoken. The people of Raebareli and Amethi have spoken, and you cannot. I mean, something I always maintained is the kind of love and affection and loyalty that they received from Rae Bareli and Amethi. शायद ही कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट होगी पूरे इंडिया में,
Hmm.
कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट होंगे from where they have gotten as much as they have gotten out of Raebareli and Amethi. And to take it so lightly, to take it so for granted was honestly just disturbing. You know, after all of that, you are never here. You never come in to check in on your people. You only come in around election time. It was actually kind of gross, to be honest, and very, very disturbing, and quite hurtful, to be honest. And I think people just absolutely had it with the party and just this sort of bye bye politics, uh, you know, and that kind of is the reason for their
I
abysmal.
love I love this description of bye bye politics, which gives a whole
अब
whole
यहाँ
different
यही
meaning,
नाटक है
whole
चुनाव में,
different
कांग्रेस
meaning
का
to the
पंजा मतलब
Neta's
बाय
wave.
बाय.
When you join a party where the leader frames often his language in terms of 80-20 and so on, as Yogi Adityanath did, how do you, as a young progressive politician today, make your peace with the fact that Muslims, an entire community, nearly 19% of the state, do not feel included in this victory?
You know, I'm an electoral politician. I'm
Yeah.
not a spokesperson. I'm not, all I've ever seen in my entire life is electoral politics. I think, and I've seen many parties, being from UP, सब कुछ देखा है. You know, हर पार्टी को अलग अलग चीजें चुनाव के टाइम बोलते देखा है. हर कैंडिडेट को चुनाव के टाइम अलग अलग चीजें बोलते देखा है. Sometimes very progressive, sometimes really weird. I think when you do politics in a state like UP, especially, or for that matter in our country, so diverse, even pluralism, and even within Hindus, all the caste system and everything that just sort of comes in, things are said. Election ke time pe chahe koi bhi party ho, they will try to garner votes, they will say certain things. uh, it goes without saying. I say it, forget parties, hum pratyashi bhi bolte hain. The kind of things, I mean, I think people that contested against me, the kind of things they said, a lot of times, a lot of the things that are said are not always what a neta ends up doing when they do win. I think Amit Shah ji recently had this very brilliant interview. I kind of remember seeing it during, I was busy in my own election at that time. And he said that चुनाव है, चुनाव के टाइम कुछ चीजें बोलनी पड़ती हैं, कुछ चीजें हम बोलते हैं, कुछ पैतरे होते हैं चुनाव के, but that doesn't mean that that's how we govern. So I think governance essentially is very, very different from just Chunavi slogans, which sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. As I
Yeah.
mature as a politician, I've learned that one does do. Every party does have to do to appease certain vote bases for their own good, right? Having said that, if you let it translate into your governance, that's when it's going to come back to haunt you. And
Okay. That's
of course,
that's
BJP
actually
has
this.
not done it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, 5 saal beete, I mean, I think now I can confidently say that there was no danga, there was no fasad, there was no real big disturbance. Honestly, a major chunk of the Panchvarshi went in tackling Corona, right? So, you my to basically sum up what I'm saying, निचोड़ ये है कि चुनाव के टाइम कुछ चीजें बोली जाती हैं, पक्ष भी बोलता है, विपक्ष भी बोलता है, सत्ता पक्ष भी
Okay.
बोलते हैं,
Okay.
विरोधी भी बोलते हैं.
You've seen life from both sides of the trenches. You've been with the Congress. Your family has had a, your father has been in politics for multiple times. How would you say
Yeah.
the political culture is different? I think
I think
for people who've seen both parties, that would be a very interesting thing to find out.
um, I think, first and foremost, me being a young person, a young leader, um, the most impressive thing about the Bharatiya Janata Party is just how disciplined they are. I've seen some top-notch leaders, I'm not going to take names, or chunav ke time, they'd be sitting in their tiny little cubicles, haath se ek parcha bharna, doing all the work themselves. I've seen top leadership stay in rooms, maybe not much bigger than my bathroom, frankly, like yay big, staying in those tiny rooms, in their party karyalayas, in their headquarters, in, even for that matter, even the RSS, in the RSS headquarters, tiny rooms with very, very little vyavastha, staying for months at an end, working for their party. So the kind of discipline, the kind of diligence, the kind of hard work the BJP puts in, me being a young person and being just an admirer of hard work, I really am from that generation ki mehnat se sab kuch mil sakta hai, sab kuch munasib hai. And I see that, and it's just absolutely inspiring, Barkha. And you can't beat hard work, I feel, at the end of the day. And दूसरे हाथ पे I've seen the Congress culture जहाँ मतलब सबके नाम के आगे X लिखा है, तब भी उनसे अपॉइंटमेंट मिलने में महीने लग जाते थे, you know be it
Hmm.
ex MPs, be it ex MLAs, be it God knows who. So just the working culture, forget everything else, forget about the politics part of it. I'm only going to talk about the organizational and management part of it. The BJP is, par none. Just the kind of hard work they put in, they're quick on their feet, they're diligent, they follow through. Every sort of everything, every demand that I made during election, and nothing, not
Hmm.
anything that I needed, any star pracharak and this and that. They listen. They actually listen. They get things done. And I think that kind of just sort of party culture is what has gotten the Bharatiya Janata Party this far. And I'm a huge fan of hard work in general. I'm a huge fan of people
Well,
that actually work for what they want and go ahead and achieve it. And that is exactly all the things that are lacking in the Congress party.